Long ball number 3 here on Monday. The United States men's national team roster has come out. Any surprises or shocks for you, Jason?
Looking at it right here, 4 goalkeepers again. Mauricio Pochettino likes bringing 4 goal. I don't know why. I do not get that. I'm not against Diego Cochin getting a call up. Fine. Again, he's a Barcelona B goalkeeper. All right. Schulte, Stefan Turner. Stefan did not look good in the playoffs. We know Matt Turner's rusty, but a great shot stopper. I hope that Patrick Schulte can elevate his game and become the guy sooner rather than later, because the rest of these guys are not impressing me. Defenders: McKenzie, Ream, Richards, Anthony Robinson, Miles Robinson, Joe Scally, Austin Trusty. All right, so the Tim Ream thing again.
I told you that's why the roster was released late on Sunday, was because they were trying to see the availability of Tim Ream.
Could have been. Obviously, we knew MLS was going to take a playoff break regardless, but Tim Ream comes out of that loss for Charlotte healthy. It means he can play. Chris Richards back from injury. I honestly had not day-to-day tracked Chris Richards' injury situation, but clearly, if Pochettino's calling him up, he's got the all clear to play for his national team. Jedi's a no-brainer. Miles over CCV. No Cameron Carter-Vickers, Miles Robinson instead. I mean, that's a preference. I've never been overly impressed by Cameron Carter-Vickers, but he's been playing well. He just had a good Champions League showing. It gave a lot of people reason to think that he might be in this team. Scally, we know about. Austin Trusty, part of that pairing was Cameron Carter-Vickers at Celtic, part of that Champions League performance against Girona. He's in the group. His teammate is not. Midfielders: Aronson, Busio, Cardoso, McKennie, Morris, Musa, Tessman, Tillman. I don't think there's any shocks here. I think there are people who are still not sold on Aiden Morris. I like the kid. I think he's going to grow. Johnny Cardoso hasn't shown it for the national team for me. Neither has Malik Tillman. But talent-wise, there's no denying that they're good enough for this level. It's just putting in those performances to make us believe they can help this team get better. Busio was in the last camp. That's a player I think had been missing for a little while under Greg Berhalter, so he gets an opportunity. Rob, we know about Aronson and his limitations, but also the energy he brings. Musa, of course. Weston McKennie, of course. No Tyler Adams, which it was too early. It was too early. I said, he played a little bit. Obviously got to start this past weekend in that loss for Bournemouth, but not ready to play significant minutes. I thought maybe he would be there just to kind of get reintroduced. I know Pochettino did comment on Adams, said it was too soon, and that he likes him as a player, that he tried to sign him when he was at Chelsea. So there's that. Any comments on this before I move to forwards, Rob?
I'm trying to see where in the midfield grouping here, where is the creativity? I see a lot of energy and worker bees. I'm not seeing a lot of.
Well, who would that be? Diego Luna. Is that the only name that you can think of? Pull it out of your pocket. Who you got? Because Gio Reyna's hurt. He's not available, right? The injuries have been part of the story here. I think you're looking at this. You have a deep-lying passer in Busio. I'm not going to say he's a playmaker, but he's a deep-lying passer, good passer of the ball. You have Aronson, who's all industry. I think can play in combination occasionally. I'm not saying he's great at it, but it's there. Weston McKennie is a decent support player in attack. He can make a pass occasionally himself, but you're not playing through him most of the time. Tillman is the guy, and he comes off that Champions League performances. When I say Celtic beat Girona, that was PSV that beat Girona. My mistake on the crossing of the wires there. But Malik Tillman against Girona was excellent. That's what you want to see. You want to see him be that player. He's the creative name here, Robert. You have Aronson, who's nominally I don't know. I guess he's an 8. Busio's a deep-lying player. Call him a 6 if you want. Cardoso's a 6. McKennie's an 8. Morris is an 8, I guess. Yunus Musa is, well, we know Yunus Musa, who has utility in other parts of the field, which, by the way, I'll point out, two fullbacks. Only 2 fullbacks in this team, which has led to speculation that this could be a back 3. I find that difficult to believe right now, but it's out there as a possibility because the only 2 fullbacks are Jedi Robinson and Joe Scally. Now, of course, Yunus Musa comes off of a performance for AC Milan in the Champions League where he played nominally as a wing back for AC Milan. Could he be doing that for the national team if they go to a back 3? Okay, let's throw that out there as a possibility. Cowell, Pepe, Pulisic, Vasquez, Weah, Zendejas. Look, if Christian Pulisic plays through the middle, you have to find a way to balance that defensively, Rob, but he could do that. He does it for Milan. He certainly has mobility in that area. Zendejas, we think of him as a wide player, but he can play through the middle if necessary. It's not a roster that screams like just absolutely crushing Jamaica, but it's not terrible either.
There should be more than enough to get by Jamaica. And Jamaica is probably one of the lowest floors and highest ceiling teams in CONCACAF. So you never know what you're going to quite get. There's a lot of I want to see more guys. Just looking over it, they didn't have a good outing last time. Aiden Morris and Bucio could have done more. Same with Tillman. We didn't see the club version of Malik Tillman. So those guys I'd like to see again, but you want to see more. If they get significant time in this break and they don't show more, I don't know, especially Morris turned the ball over a lot. Aronson was had a bit of a nightmare last month. So we want to see more from them. And I'd like to see also Zendejas. I mean, he plays for one of the biggest teams in Mexico. He gets in, a lot of goal contributions, and it'd be very exciting to see Zendejas, kind of make a name for himself. Maybe. In the American shirt. In the chat here, we got Nicholas Murray throwing in the Diego Luna hive reporting in, and I also like to see. I had this thought when I saw the Pochettino press conference. Is the coach too interested in getting along with the clubs? What do you think about that? Because he's being very club friendly with his selection so far.
He is. And this is Nate. Tyler not called up. Christensen home early. Is Poch too interested in getting along with club coaches, not interested enough in winning? I don't know. I hope not. I hope it's not a deference towards the club. I did say this, though, when we had that last window and the players who left. We talked about this, maybe him being a little bit more in tune with what club teams and what those coaches want and trying to, and understanding that push-pull maybe better than a coach who's not been in the highest levels of the club game. But you don't want it to be that he is sacrificing something for the U.S. men's national team in order to, make sure Christian Pulisic is healthy for Fonseca or but there is a balance there, right? Like, I think Pochettino knows that an informed, successful Pulisic or Weah or whoever with their club teams is going to be better for the United States in the World Cup in a year and a half than a player who is missing time because of injuries that they picked up with the national team.
That's difficult. That's really difficult to swallow. I was totally understanding in the last window of those players, to your point, it's like getting Pulisic home to his club and, doing the shifting around. But at the end of the day, I guess that's all part of scheduling. You scheduled the arch rival for the country in a friendly game. So it's kind of hard, long-term thinking versus short-term results. It's it was ugly. We didn't want to see the United States lose to Mexico, but at the same time, your star player goes back to his club and continues his hot form. So it's really hard to say what's the right or wrong decision there.
Yeah, look, okay, so let's address a couple of things. You already mentioned Nicholas Murray, our friend from the USL, saying Diego Luna reporting. Diego Luna missing, not here. This seems to be an indication that a couple different coaches see something lacking in Diego Luna when it comes to international soccer. What that is, couldn't tell you. I mean, is it defensive work? Is it that he, I don't know, but you don't trust him enough to play where he plays for RSL because throwing him into that position with the U.S. men's national team is a different kind of thing. I don't know. And that he is a creative player. Another one here from Japheth is Paxton Aronson. Paxton Aronson not there yet. On loan in Holland from Eintracht and growing as a player, but not necessarily a player that you can say is sort of forcing his way into the team. Also worth mentioning that I must have missed that Carmen Carter-Vickers picked up an injury for Celtic over the weekend back in league play, so that would partly explain his absence. Again, he wasn't in the last team, but that was also a time when he was injured. So he just can't stay healthy. Can't call him up if he's not if he's not healthy. It's a team, as you said, good enough to take care of Jamaica. And that's how we're going to measure this. Mauricio Pochettino should not get a pass as early as it is in his tenure. He should not get a pass in these quote-unquote meaningful games, right? The Nations League counts for something. There's a trophy at the end of this. You need to go win that trophy. But that's the standard we're used to, even though we wanted more from our national team program and our national team coach in other tournaments. Our standard is winning the Nations League in CONCACAF. You better do that, or there will be serious heat.
One of the the national team's prizes streaks was ruined last month when United States lost to Mexico. I mean, there's a lot of U.S. fans, and I'm sure the players had their chest out a little bit more puffed out and were feeling a little bit better about going to their national team, knowing that they had the a reign of dominance against Mexico, and that was gone. So a lot to improve on, and definitely want to get back in the win column, especially when it counts in these Nations League games.
I believe, by the way, worth pointing out, Tim Weah would be suspended for that first game because of the red card in Copa, right? So he would miss the game in Kingston and be available for the game in St. Louis. Just something to think about.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that Weah is going to get? You said there's only a couple fullbacks in this roster. Do you think Weah gets pushed back there?
Could be. I mean, he's a wing back, not a fullback. I think that's, and again, those are the clues that people are picking up. Except again, I'll put the roster back up. Just take a look at it one more time. McKenzie, Ream, Richards, Miles Robinson, Austin Trusty. That's 5 center backs. 2 fullbacks, 5 center backs. Kind of does indicate that there could be 3 on the field at any given time from the center back position, and then you're playing with, I would imagine, Jedi Robinson on one side. We know he's good going forward. And it could be Weah in the second game. Could be Musa, as I said, after what he did for AC Milan. Could be something like that. I don't know there's another candidate. Joe Scally is not a wingback. Joe Scally is a fullback, and a defensively minded fullback at that. So it'll be fascinating to see what Pochettino does.
Thanks for all your comments on this topic out there, guys. Like and subscribe to our channel while you're here. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your family's enemies to subscribe to Morning Kick Around. The best show to come out in 2024, right, Jason?
That's right. The best thing about 2024, period, to be honest with you. Amidst some downers, we are positivity here on Morning Kick Around.
It's all the yin and yang. Liverpool's the best team in Europe. The Lions are the number 1 team in football. And you got to take the other side of the coin. Be sure to also look us up and follow along Kick Around on the X and Instagram, or write us the old-fashioned note, morningkickaround@gmail.com.